Hello, everybody, and welcome to the webinar JDE Talks, where we're going to deep dive you for in the next release of JDE Edwards, the release 26. Welcome to JDE Talks. We do this now for 2 years. Our community is growing every month again, so welcome everybody following up, and also welcome to the people who will listen to this webinar in a later stage. I'm happy to announce that today we have with us Mark Herwegen. Probably most of you know him already, but he is the entity on JDE Edwards, and he will explain us much more about the new release. My name is Serge Deslover. I am account manager in Broadpin, and I will moderate this call for you and talk you through. If you have any questions or whatever, put it in the chat. We will questions that pop up. We will monitor the questions, and I will ask them to Mark directly. So feel free to share anything you want. About Broadpin, shortly, not all of you might have known our name. In the meantime, I think it will change a bit. But before that, we were Quister. We moved together with 4 other companies under a new umbrella. That name is Broadpin, with a clear focus on Oracle solutions. And one of the biggest in that spectrum is JDE Edwards. And again, that's why we have Mark here to talk about Release 26. Release 26 was released in October, and this is the moment in which Mark will tell us what is in that release and how you can benefit from that. Mark, thank you for joining this JDE Talks, and the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Serge, for the introduction, and welcome all of you. So I'm really happy to be here and to be able to talk to you about what we are doing with JDE Edwards and what we've been doing recently with JDE Edwards Release 26. Now, should I remind you that JDE Edwards is alive and kicking? We are continuously releasing new software. We will not stop doing that. And if you look at the last few years, there have been plenty of announcements coming out. JDE Edwards is being used all over the world. So we keep track of customers in 111 countries. So it's really a worldwide solution. Guess what? We are celebrating an anniversary this year. With Release 26, we are happy to celebrate 10 years of the JDE Edwards Orchestrator. And I'm sure you've heard about it. I hope you're using it. I know that many of our customers are. So 10 years year anniversary means that it is a centerpiece of what we deliver, and it has very mature and very strong functionality. What else? Well, we see JDE Edwards customers keep continuing adopting Oracle Cloud solutions, be it infrastructure or complementary SaaS products. We keep on running workshops and interacting with you, events. We've just finished a round of applications in limited events in Western Europe in various cities. And you may not know this, but we are running, JDE Edwards development is running a podcast with weekly episodes. We have by now more than 15,000 downloads of these podcasts. So take your favorite podcasting tool. If you listen to podcasts, look for the JDE Edwards connection, and there is very valuable content in there. If you're a business analyst, if you're an IT person working with JDE Edwards, there's very valuable content in these podcasts. So, do I have to repeat this? We are on a 10-year rolling support horizon for JDE Edwards. It just means every year we add another year to give you a very long visibility on how we commit to keep on developing and supporting JDE Edwards. We've been extending it for the last 10 years, every year for another year. There's nothing that says we will stop doing this, on the contrary. So this is just going forward the normal way. Nobody else gives a 10-year commitment to the product you're currently running in your systems. And we have a vision with where we are and where we are going. So if we look back a little bit, in 2018, we were talking about our ERP vision, that we move into a digital ERP, a supervised ERP. Think about robotic process automation. We delivered alert, analyze, act. Think about assisted decision making into a more intelligent ERP, where we bring in things like machine learning, natural language processing, intelligent recommendations, and these are things that become possible and are possible today. So making it a system of intelligence. So what is next? So what's next? We believe we will gradually move from a system of intelligence to a system of autonomy. So a system that makes decisions on its own, that's self-monitoring, self-healing. So we hear a lot about AI, agentic AI. So agents that AI agents that take actions in the ERP systems. Now the real question is, where are you today in all of this? Are you using JDMs like it's 2005, or rather like 2025? So that is what we want to put up here as a challenge also to you. Now let's get back to release 26 and our product strategy. And our product strategy hasn't fundamentally changed the last 10 years. We keep on investing in JDE Edwards, and I would call it three main axes, three main dimensions. First of all, the JDE Edwards digital platform. And that's where we talk about personalization, where we talk about orchestrator. I'll come back on that. Secondly, we keep on investing in applications, so more application functionality, and we keep on investing in the system administration side of things. So making it easier, simpler, more cost-effective to operate and run JDE Edwards from a technical perspective. That has to do with development tools, it has to do with platform, etc. Now notice that we've added three more elements here. Now they don't necessarily completely stand on their own, but we want to highlight them because these are major areas of progress and investment, and I'll come back on each three of these. Now, release 26. One major change we've made to release 26, and one that may look like cosmetic, but will make communication with you a lot easier. So we used to have a release 25 with tools release 929 with applications update 9, and it all got very confusing. So I needed to do higher math if you were telling me I'm on release 22 to know what tools release corresponded to that. I had to count back. So we've simplified this. As of now, it's release 26, which goes with applications update 26, tools release 9 to 26. Let's make it easy on communication for all of us. So you can expect release 26 to be applications update 27, release 27, applications update 27, tools release 9 to 27, etc. Release 26 was released from our development end of October this year. And as you know, when we release a version, we do keep on adding functionality throughout the year. So to some degree, I'll also give a forward look. Now, let's go back to our different development dimensions, strategies, and start a little bit with the digital platform. And I want to highlight a few elements, a few additions that we've done to the software. as far as it comes to digital platform. And I go a little bit in detail when I do that, but some of them may be interesting. You may recognize them. You may feel, well, I've used it and this was a gap that they've now filled. Also notice on this slide here, when it says italics planned, it does mean we plan to deliver it within the calendar year, still within release 26, an update, an ESUs or tools releases on top of release 26. So the red ones are definitely not release 27. And that's throughout my presentation for the day. So I'll be talking a bit, I'll give a few examples about process automation, user experience, enterprise integration, no-code, low-code, and rather than commenting on this slide, let's drill slightly deeper. For instance, talking about the orchestrator. And for a while, we've had capabilities to debug orchestrations, run through it step by step, set breakpoints, etc. Now, sometimes you have inside an orchestration form requests with multiple forms that you run through, and it became sometimes very hard to figure out where the problem was in the sequence of forms. You can now detail debug, so step into the different forms in the sequence of form requests. Or if you have a nested orchestration, step into the nested orchestration with your debugger, making debugging quite a bit easier, quite a bit more complete than it was before. That's delivered with release 26. Another example, if you've ever tried debugging an orchestration with a file input, that was a bit of a hard nut. It was a miss from our side, so we fixed that. You can now debug orchestrations with file input. So all examples of refinements, improvements in orchestrations. Another area, so notifications. Notifications have been around for a very long time. You can subscribe, create notifications. You can subscribe to notifications. They appear in your JDE user interface under that bell icon, notifications, but you can also receive them in your workbench. You can receive them by email or other means. You were already able in previous releases to put alerts as badges on top of nodes in Enterprise One pages. Now you can also put notifications there. So rather than just putting alerts there, you can now put notifications there as well, making, again, giving you another paradigm, another tool in your toolbox to make the user interface more specific, more appropriate for the users that you're working with. Another example, so already in release 25, not a very initial release, but halfway through the year, we delivered something called widgets. And if you've not looked at widgets yet, I would strongly suggest you to do that. What is widgets? What is it about? Well, in the Orchestrator Studio, when you build an orchestration, you have output from the orchestration. There's a one button where you can say, create widget from this orchestration. And what that will do is it will allow you to configure a graphical representation of your data, of your output of the orchestration. So you have a few parameters available, the graph type, the axis definitions, the legend definitions, etc. And right now, and that is new with release 26, also parameters that you can expose to the end user. These widgets you can put in Enterprise One pages. If you've ever looked at UX One pages with all the graphs in there that were developed with JET, JavaScript toolset, was nice, very well looking, very well done, but a bit hard to create your own because you had to do some JavaScript development for it. This is a way now to create similarly looking graphs of your data without any coding at all. So it's a new user-defined object. Another ask that came up quite a bit. So we've been able to do form personalizations, form extensions in most of our form types. Only form extensions were not possible so far on Power Edit forms. So we fixed most of that gap now already. There's one element missing. It's adding extra data items from business views, which is planned, which will come somewhere this calendar year. But you can already, in Power Forms, in form extensions now, edit the tab sequence, associate orchestrations, notifications, logic extensions, manage the form and row exits, add buttons, move, hide, rename, disable fields and controls. So all of the flexibility with one exception. So adding data items at this point in time will come pretty soon. So all of the things you could do in all of the other form types, you can now also do in Power Edit forms. And there are areas in the software that use these heavily. You may also use them in sales order entry with P42.101 instead of P42.10 as an example. And another example of an enhancement requested by customers. So launching orchestrations from a form extension conditionally, depending on certain conditions that you have in the form. So rather than checking it inside the orchestration, don't even call the orchestration when certain conditions are not met. On the roadmap, again, for this calendar year, so we can already put widgets in Enterprise One pages. We have on the roadmap the ability to add widgets in Cafe One layouts, so making it context sensitive within your Enterprise One application. So another easy way to represent your data graphically in the context of Enterprise One pages. Okay, that was digital platform. Now, a few highlights when it comes to system administration. And I'm calling it here highlights because, again, I'm not exhaustive, just like I was not exhaustive for the digital platform.
Mark, if I can interrupt, there's one question. Are there any license restrictions like needed one view reporting to use the widgets?
No license restrictions on the widgets.
Okay, thank you.
So system administration, a few highlights again. And on this slide, there's a bit more detail. I will again not comment everything, but straight go through my next slides where I highlight a few. The first one, we have redone the JDE Edwards scheduler. It was probably long overdue. It was still a fat client application. We've not touched it for more than 20 years, probably. We've completely redone it. It's in the web right now. We've enhanced the capabilities. So not only do we deliver what we had before, but we've also enhanced it. For instance, it's virtual batch queue aware now, which is a big change. Before you needed to assign scheduled jobs to a specific queue. Now it can work with virtual batch queues, but there's more to it. So the we have streamlined the user interface. We have direct links to output in it. We can allow to skip jobs. We auto sync the schedules, etc. So I urge you to look at all of the enhancements we've done in that area. Now, as we've moved it to the web client, it's one reason less for system administrators to need a fat client, because one of the things is we want to reduce the need for fat clients. And this was one area where administrators needed a fat client. So we've cut that requirement out. It can all be done from the web. And another thing, guess what? When it's in the web, it is enabled for orchestrations. We can build form requests, we can build orchestrations on top, automating the process of triggering or building, even automating the process of building or creating schedules. Other enhancements, table operations. So we brought table operations to Web OMW. So another area where we have cut out the need to have fat client or deployment server. We are now able to do table operations straight from the web client, further simplifying the architecture and reducing the need for a development client. And another one, if you are using Microsoft SQL Server as a database, so an example that we're not just investing in Oracle underlying technology here, we've now added support for clustering with Microsoft SQL Server. So some of you may be using Microsoft SQL Server. If you would want to use clustering, this can be a very useful enhancement. And as ever, we have things on the road. We have things planned. So one area, and I already stressed it with the web client, with the web scheduler, we are on a path to reduce the need for development client, but not also that, only that, also reduce as much as possible the need to have a deployment server. And one area where we still need a deployment server today is actually to install development clients. And for the few development clients that you still need, we want to go to a mode where you don't need a deployment server anymore, but you would be able to do it from the server manager directly. So that's on the roadmap. We are working on that, further reducing the need for a deployment server. Is the development client going away? Not planned yet. Not just yet. We can't say that we're sure that we will completely remove it. So it still has its place for hardcore development work. But we do want to reduce the need for it as much as possible. We already in the past have simplified the architecture dramatically by cutting out the local database, the local web server, by centralizing all of these components. So applications, what do we do on the application side? And let me give you a few examples of things that we have now delivered already with release 26. So enhancements to the delegation process for purchase order approval. So we have enhanced, we've redone workflow in the last few releases. That also gives us the ability to better work on this and more easily enhance it. We've added enhancements to the delegation process where you can delegate someone with validity dates. It will automatically adjust the workflow within these dates. We've added tolerance checks on partial voucher match. We've added ability to reprint invoices for held orders, and there are a number of other enhancements that are in the works. Now, as I said, we specifically highlighted a few areas that are related to the three main dimensions. One is the sustainability framework. This has been a major focus for us over the last year. So we started that effort with release 25 and we continue that effort. What is the sustainability framework about? Well, it's our intention to deliver a solution that allows you to collect the data that is necessary to be able to do your sustainability reporting without delivering with JDE Edwards the reporting tool itself. So we see that there's perfect tools available in the market there. Oracle has tools for it as well in the EPM suite of products, but these tools need to be fed. And how are they fed? Where is the source of the information? Well, very often it's with transactions you do in your ERP system. And we've created a sustainability activity ledger that we feed from transactions that are specifically fit and purpose-built to collect sustainability information. And over the last year, we've actively been working on capturing data and filling that sustainability activity ledger. So with Release 25, we delivered solutions to track stationary and mobile combustion. So CO2 emissions, NOx emissions, starting from that sustainability activity ledger, starting from standard transactions that we have in JDE Edwards, but also with the ability to configure things specifically for your needs. With Release 25, on a later point release, we went into Scope 2 reporting requirements for purchased energy. And again, we are able now to capture data about purchased energy, location, market, setting up preference rules, automatically filling that activity ledger. And we are not done. We continue on this. We've not released it, delivered it with the initial drop of Release 26. It will be with a later drop, but we are planning to deliver tracking for waste management, for water consumption as well with this sustainability framework. And this is an area we are actively looking for early adopters, where our development organization is keen to get feedback, because we also want to further enhance it with your customer-driven requirements. So if there's an interest in it, let us know, and we can work with you to give this more meat, to get into more detail, for you to work with our development organization as well. And I know that the question will come up, is there a cost to this? The answer to that is, again, no. So this is part of your foundation license. The users that will use it will, of course, have to be licensed for JDE Edwards, but there's no additional cost from a module or functional perspective. Another area, enterprise automation. And enterprise automation really is on the cross between the digital platform and the applications, I would say. But it's an area that we've been working on very hard again since Release 25, where we've delivered quite a bit of functionality. And how do we see enterprise automation? Enterprise automation is the next step beyond process automation. With orchestrations, you can do process automation. You can record the process, you can combine multiple steps in one go under one button, or do it completely automatically. The question then becomes, where should I automate? Where are my real bottlenecks? What are the processes that aren't running as smooth as I would like them to be? And how do I find these blind spots? Well, how do you find these blind spots? By making it visible how your processes really run. And when you find the blind spots, you can use the tools you have available to improve on them. And the tools you have available could be process automation, but it could also be changing the configuration of your processes, or it could be training users. To help them understand how to best use the software. So there's no one single answer, but the first question is, how do I identify these blind spots? And that's where we're building an enterprise automation solution over the last releases, Release 25, Release 26. So we've continued in Release 26. And a large part of it, the idea is, from the configuration data in your system, we extract the configuration and make a graphical representation of your process. And then we overlay that with how the processes really execute. For instance, if I take the order to cash process, so look at your configuration, next order rules, etc. draw a graphical diagram of your process and overlay it with, well, how many orders go from status A to status B, from 520 to 540, or straight to 580, etc. So what happens really? Make snapshots of it, compare different snapshots over time. And with release 26, we've enhanced that again. We've added the capability to show multiple process models in one page, put it into an enterprise one page, combined with other data like notifications, like alerts, drill down in the underlying data, allows split views, and so on, to make it more apparent, more clear on what you have on the screen. Again, it's an area we started developing in release 25. We've delivered process models, we've enhanced it, and we keep on going further with it. One thing which is planned is enhancing these process models. For instance, we currently have procure to pay, but also include the receipts, receipt routing, voucher match, branch outs in these processes. So complement, make the process views that we have more complete, add extra processes on it, which can get generated automatically. Looking at our roadmap, we've been delivering, and we've quite a bit over the last calendar year. And there's a summary on this slide. And when we look at what we try to do, there's various areas, right? So the first thing is get all of the information. So ingest the information to represent them in our process flows. And a lot has been delivered. A few more things are planned to be delivered, like more analytic tables. To model your processes, and we've delivered a number of static processes. We've delivered a number of dynamic processes that are generated automatically. The ability to analyze, so analyze, take snapshots, compare, drill down, queries, watch lists to help you with it, notifications on all of that. And we will come with more user-defined metrics on top. Then solve. This is all about the tools you have available to improve the situation you detect. And of course, you're going to measure again, and the cycle starts again. So measuring, ingesting, modeling, analyzing again to keep on improving. So improving your processes by being able to visualize them, analyze how they execute in a very rapid pace and dynamic way. And last but not least, and again, this goes over the multiple areas: digital platform, applications, AI enablement. And AI is the big theme nowadays. And when it comes to AI enablement, our strategy there is one about enablement. So we don't have the intention to build AI specifically for JDE Edwards. But there are a lot of AI services available from Oracle in the Oracle Cloud. But obviously, there's also external AI services available that you could leverage. And we do everything possible to make it easy for you to call these AI services, to use these AI services in the context of JDE Edwards. And we provide examples for that. And we intend to continue doing exactly that. When I talk about AI, as I said, there are plenty of AI services available in the Oracle Cloud, which you can leverage. And the tool we use, the main tool we use to leverage these, is the JDE Edwards Orchestrator again. And again, as I said, these AI services could be external as well. They could be from another source, but Oracle is paying my paycheck. So I intend to give examples with Oracle AI tools. Here is a very short summary of what type of AI services you have available there. So there are, for instance, vision AI services, which allow you to recognize images. And we've developed examples where and that are available on learnjde.com, where you use these to recognize goods receipt and to check off if it's exactly what you've ordered. Document understanding can help you recognize invoices, recognize expenses, recognize receipt documents, etc. We have digital assistants available. We have language, which you could use to translate. We have generative AI services available. So we host multiple different Gen AI services, which again, you can use to good benefit to the summarization of data in JDE AdWords. So over the last year or so, we've delivered quite a few examples documented on Learn JDE on how to set this up, that you can also use to get ideas on what is the art of the possible. And we are not done there yet, so we are looking beyond that. So this is a fast-moving team, and we are working and actively looking on what the next things are that we need to look into. One very good example, for instance, is vector search. The Oracle database has capabilities to do vector search, and we've developed an example already where we use vector search to search attachments in the JDE AdWords database and extract information from that. So do queries on that, which wouldn't have been possible before. Now, all of that being said, let me show something in live when it comes to JDE AdWords and AI. So let me share my screen. And it's a very small demonstration. And of course, when I'm talking for half an hour, my JDE AdWords is logged out. So there we are. We are on JDE AdWords, and a little example I want to show you today is one about spend analysis. And I talked about widgets earlier today in my talk, and here is an example of such a widget which has been set up. So I have the company, I have my spend analysis comparing the price, the cost, in a graphical representation. But what if I could ask AI, a large language model, to just summarize this information for me? And here's an example where we've then used Gen AI to just summarize what is in this little graph. So based on spend analysis by business unit, company spending, etc. Now, guess what? This is live what I'm doing here. I can ask for, I've made the language a parameter. So in the prompt to Gen AI, I have a language parameter. So I could put this in another language, but then I started playing with it. And what about if you just ask to reformulate this for me in Trump language? How will it look like then? Folks, let me tell you, we've got some tremendous insight here, etc. So there's a lot of things here possible with generative AI to make it behave like you want, get a summary for you in a very easy way. And this is a very short and very easy call away to a generative AI service. So let's get back to the presentation. And it's pretty much, I'm pretty much at the end of my presentation. So I hope what you've seen, that it gives you some inspiration. I also want to come back on my question from earlier on. How are you using JDE AdWords? Is it JDE AdWords like it's 2025? Are you ready to adopt all of the new technologies that are coming to us at this point in time, or are you using JDE Edwards like it's 2005? Now, when I talk about the new technologies that are coming at us, the pace of change is enormous. And for you to be able to adopt this, there is a key requirement. It's not just about applying the latest tools, the latest functionality. It's also about adopting the new things that are there. And that can allow you to accelerate. That can allow you to innovate and use JDE Edwards to good benefit in your innovation in the company. And this largely concludes my presentation. As always, I remind you about our portal, learnjde.com. So all of the information, plenty of the information, all of the AI examples, for instance, all of the much more information about the new functionality that we delivered is available on learnjde.com. So I strongly invite you to bookmark that page and to visit it regularly. And with that, I want to conclude my part of the presentation. Serge, back to you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much for the deep dive. I think it was very interesting, and I would like to emphasize also, if people have any questions after this presentation, feel free to reach out to us. Within Broadpin, we are happy to support you in all the things that Mark just showed, to help you set it up, to deep dive in things, to have demos there. But please come forward and ask us anything you want. Having said that, the January 19th, we have another JDE Edwards talk. So happy to join all of you and go in there. Rest me for now to wish everybody a very nice Christmas and a good year end. And if we don't speak to each other before that, a happy new year, and we will see you in 2026. Mark, thank you so much for today. Everybody who was in the webinar and will join later. Enjoy your time with family, etc. And we see each other soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.